Do
All
it.
right. Hey, guys, you're sleeping like crap and you're wondering why you feel like ass in the morning? Well, we're going to talk about sleep today and sleep hygiene and some things that you can do that don't cost much money, some stuff that doesn't cost any money at all, just routine stuff. And then we'll get into some supplements that you can, very basic stuff, blue light blockers, and more just going into some routine, basically. Right. And then some of the science, sleep phases, and which ones are important, which ones are more important, because they're all important. Let's talk about sleep.
So
Super important.
I think the obvious thing to talk about, first of all, is why you need sleep. Well, sleep is one of those things that helps the body to recover. You get your hormones balanced. The body gets a break and gets to repair all the things that you've deconstructed in whatever way during the day. So it's imperative that you get enough sleep. And you'll hear this being talked about by any kind of medical professional, any kind of wellness coach. If you're not getting enough sleep, it doesn't matter what kind of workout you're doing, what kind of diet you have, you're basically stifling your gains in a very serious way.
Yeah, don't listen to that nonsense of like, you can sleep when you're dead.
Yeah,
like that's a whole culture of that. And it's like, especially if you're doing what we're doing and working out as hard as you are, get your sleep in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to end up paying for it. And I think a lot of the times it's like you're working against yourself if you stay up and you're not. Some people are like, I only need 5 hours or 6 hours of sleep. It's like you could probably get used to that, but you're forgetting that if you get that extra 4 hours, that extra 3 hours, you get the full 8 or 9, you're going to be so much better of a performer. You know, your ability in the gym, your cognitive ability, and you've been used to just getting 6 hours. Whereas if you had that full hours, you'd be shocked at what your body's able to do, because these bodies can adapt. You know, you can get away with, there's guys in the military probably who aren't sleeping at all, and they're still functioning and they're still getting things done. Like people who have their kid, they don't sleep for the first 2-3 months or whatever. You survive, but that's not optimizing.
Long-term optimal.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the big athletes out there, I think it was like Roger Federer. I saw you sleeping like 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like the people that really put themselves through it, they prioritize their sleep.
Yes, sleep is huge, guys. Like, sleep is like the number one anabolic awesome thing you can do besides killing it in the gym and having an awesome diet. And I don't even put it above diet in some ways, because it's with your cognitive function and with your work and with how you grow and everything else that goes along with sleep. So freaking important, guys. So sleep hygiene, how to get ready for bed. So here's a couple things, guys. When you do get ready for bed, try to stay off of your phone. Blue light is what, when the sun comes out, is what gets your body knowing that it's time to wake up. So blue light specifically is what comes from your TV. It comes from any of these screens that you have, and that'll interrupt your sleep pattern because your body's thinking, oh, it's still daylight outside, so it's time to stay awake. It's time to keep going awake. So if you can actually get outside and see the sun coming down, there's something about the sun being at like the sunset level when it hits your eyes that actually primes your body to get ready for bed, because we've been doing that for thousands of years. So if you can get outside, go for a walk or something, or even go on your back porch or look out a window and see that, that's really good.
Is that like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes?
Yeah, even if it's 5 minutes or whatever, get some of it in there. That's a good rule of thumb. And then when you eat your dinner, try to have it like 2 hours before you go to bed, if you can, hour and a half. Get your digestion kind of rocking already and kind of through into your small intestine. And get your blue light blockers on about an hour and a half, at least hour, before you go to bed. So when you're brushing your teeth, maybe if you are watching a movie or you're reading a book or doing some final emails or whatever, get your blue light blockers on. And I would even go a step further to say, like, get off of the phone or the TV or any of that stuff about an hour before. Read an actual book. Way better for you. And to get your body out of that blue light.
Right.
And then past that into supplements, if you can, take a good magnesium supplement. I recommend like a citrate, because it's cheap and it works really well. But then you can go into a couple others like threonate or magnetate, which are very good. One's for your blood-brain barrier, other ones for more cardiovascular. They're more expensive, but you don't need them. Citrate's definitely the bargain, awesome supplement. Take 1 gram or more, depending on your body weight. I take about 1.5 grams to 2 grams, my brother and I do, before bed with some zinc, and that's one thing your body can't manufacture, and it's not going to make you fall asleep easier, but what it will do is make the quality of your sleep much, much better. Okay, so once you get into bed, my grandma told me this piece of advice, which is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten in my life, is I was having trouble sleeping at 17 years old, and I was like, just couldn't get my brain to turn off. I was always thinking about like what was happening the other day, what's going to happen tomorrow, all this stuff. And my grandma was like, when your head hits the pillow, it's time to rest. And it made so much sense to me. And because she had a bunch of kids and ran a funeral home, and you could tell like her stress level was always really high. So make that commitment to yourself to like when you're in bed, it's time to rest. Like that is your job. You just shut down, get cozy, feel that good feeling of just everything peeling off of you, and it's time to rest. Right?
There's a few things that we can elaborate on that show how these cues, especially sunlight, is impacting your biology. So you have something inside of your brain called a pineal gland. That gland is responsible for manufacturing the melatonin that helps you get to sleep, and that also sends different chemicals to get your cortisol going in the morning, which will wake you up. So if those things, like if you're taking a supplement with melatonin in it, you want to stop taking that, because what that's going to do is deregulate your endogenous hormones and cause your pineal gland to quit making this stuff. So it's kind of like if you take testosterone, your balls are going to shrivel up. Same thing happens to your pineal gland. Your body recognizes there's more of this in there, so it stops making it itself. So you want to stay away from that, but you also want to understand how your biology works. So your hormones kind of work in a succession to each other. So if you have and it takes a while for them to come online, right? So if you're seeing the sun go down, your body is going to, and you spend that 25 minutes out there, your body is going to start manufacturing the melatonin you need to get to sleep. So if you miss that window of 3 to 4 hours after that and you stay up, your body's going to start making cortisol, even if you have your blue light blockers on, because it's sensing stress. You're not getting to sleep at the right time. This also falls in line with what Joe said about your thoughts. So your thoughts will trigger hormonal responses. The same thing is true for anybody who's young, and they notice that they see an image that's sexually arousing. You can't really control that. It's going to cause your testosterone and your dopamine to peak for just a small amount of time. That's going to inhibit what happens afterwards or put you in a certain direction. Same thing can happen with your thoughts at night. So if you're thinking about stressful things, stuff you have to do tomorrow or things in your life, you're going to be causing your brain to have a chemical reaction, which is going to make more cortisol, and it's going to cause your blood pressure to go up. And basically, you're not going to be prepared for sleep. So a good thing to do is tell yourself stories, do things that are going to help you relax. Not important things. Stay away from trying to figure things out or get in that critical thinking area. And you have to take control over your mind. So you have to be able to say, this is mind over body at this point. If you have a particularly stressful day, use breathing. Because when you can focus on something really simple like breathing for extended periods of time, that focus employs a directive for your thoughts so that you will be able to hopefully control them after 3 or 4 minutes of breathing. People underestimate the amount of control you can have and the peace you can have from breathing because they don't do it long enough. If you do it for 3-4 minutes and you're counting your breaths and you actually go through that hard phase where it's really boring and just makes you feel like crazy, you're actually going to start to enjoy the benefits of it. And your brain will start to relax, your body will vasodilate, your blood pressure will come down, and then you'll be more prepared for sleep. People use warm drinks like chamomile tea. You can even do massage on your body, or if you have a partner, they can massage you. You can massage your temples. Things like that will actually help direct your focus, because then all of a sudden you have good chemicals like dopamine, serotonin coming out from just a touch, and that's going to help you get into a peaceful place. Like theanine is great at doing that as well. Theanine is a big sleep supplement. It's found in green tea, or one of the teas, I'm not quite sure. And you can have these things to help you get to sleep, especially if your sleep schedule has been deregulated for some amount of time. You can get your circadian rhythm back online. It'll take a week or two for you to actually enjoy what you're doing. And you'll notice instead of 2 hours it takes to get to sleep just sitting there thinking and breathing and just doing whatever you can, it'll happen in less and less amount of time. And you'll actually enjoy
and I think the big thing too is that circadian rhythm and the routine of it, like staying on a consistent schedule of when you're going to sleep and when you're waking up. That's another huge factor. And from what I understand, the waking up part is like one of the most important. It's like if you end up going to sleep later, they say just don't like sleep later. Wake up at the same time and then get back into your routine the next day.
Take a nap.
Well, a lot of people think
to.
that sleep is something that can you could almost like have credit with. Like if I sleep for 15 hours, then I can only sleep for 6.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
No, it's not a bank account.
And I think another cool thing that Andrew Huberman talks about is when you wake up in the morning, to get that sunlight immediately.
Yeah, unobstructed. So it's like if you're in your car,
go outside.
Yeah, and if you're in your car, roll your windows down.
Don't have sunglasses on.
Don't have sunglasses on.
That's part of my morning routine now. I wake up, mix up some athletic greens, go for a walk around the block.
Right on.
And that's been my morning routine.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, because like when you get the sunlight in your eye, it starts your cortisol cycle.
Yep.
And that's super important. Get your inflammation, everything going. Another thing is, guys, if you do like sauna or something like that, or cold plunges are good for the morning time. Sauna is good for at the nighttime. And it's because your body actually gets cooler when it's getting ready to sleep, which is why you might want to snuggle up and get all cozy. And so do your sauna later on in the day. If you want to get all sleepy, you can do it in the morning and you will feel sleepy. Yeah. But definitely don't end your day with a cold plunge because you're just going to hit your adrenaline like super hard. It's going to be really good to do the opposite because you're going to get heated up instead of cooled down, which you would think would be the opposite because like here you are in the sauna, but actually when you come out of the sauna, your body temperature comes down because it's obviously overheated. Another thing is the temperature of your room. If you want to have it, like people say 68 degrees, it's different for everybody. But if you're sweating and you're trying to go to bed, it's not a good thing. You want to bring your room to a cooler temperature. 68 degrees is a pretty good place to begin with. And see how that helps. If you're having trouble getting to bed, chill your room down. Chill your house down. It'll help you get to sleep.
Definitely. And just want to encourage you guys to understand that these biological machines are very, very... they're ancient in a lot of ways. I mean, ancient meaning they've been around for a while. So we have to pay attention to what the man without all of these things like technology and homes and the lights and the stuff we're used to, his way of living with the sun is going to impact the way that you will live as well here and now today. And so also understanding that your hormones are these cues. They're what prepare your body to do something. They're what tell it it's getting ready to go through something. And if those cues are off, you're going to be suffering a lot. So pay attention to those things, not just for bodybuilders or people who are on exogenous hormones. It's for everybody.
Yeah,
and the
one
more
more
you
thing.
can learn about your hormones and the way that they work during the day, the more you can optimize your recovery and the more you can understand if you have a deficit or you say need magnesium or some of these things that are missing from your life, you can actually see how great they are, how much better your life is now that you've taken them. So it's awesome. A couple resources we use all the time that we're basically just parroting right now is Andrew Huberman. He has a wealth of information when it comes to sleep, to hormone optimization, as well as other doctors that are interviews that are going to give
Matthew Walker.
Matthew
the
Walker,
sleep expert.
Yeah,
That's the dude.
So I listen to Matthew on Rogan and on Huberman's podcast, and you'll learn a breadth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like the one thing he points out is really the sleep supplements you're seeing in stores that all really do nothing.
Yeah.
Especially melatonin. Like there's no really study to back up any of it as far as like helping you sleep better or helping you get to sleep. Like it's really a placebo effect in the end.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would mention too is the sleep trackers like an Oura Ring or the Whoop Band are really good. Like I had one for like a year. I still have the Oura Ring, but I don't really feel like I need it anymore because I understand my body and how it reacts to things. But you can start to see trends with that. So like you'll notice, for example, if you have maybe like a beer late at night before bed, you're going to see your heart rate was 5 beats higher all night long, and you start to see these trends in your lifestyle changes, how it affects your sleep. And I think you can make even fine tune your adjustments a lot more than that.
That's so cool.
And that's one thing to note. Alcohol and THC both screw up your REM sleep cycles big time. So like not doing that before bed is like huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then it's kind of an counter because they actually help you. Both of those help you go to sleep.
You think that, yeah.
But
You're not entering into all the phases.
You're not
that
getting
you need.
quality sleep at that point in time. And that leads me into caffeine. Try to take your caffeine. They say like 10 hours before sleep. It's got a 7 to 5-hour half-life.
Quarter life. It's an 8-hour
Half-life.
quarter.
The quarter life is longer. The half-life's 5 to 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
12 for everyone
quarter life.
metabolizes it differently, but try to keep that. That's a kind of like a good basic window to keep track of. And one other thing, guys, is if I'm like wake up, take a piss every night type of guy, and I don't turn on any lights. I just kind of like get to the bathroom and then get back in bed as soon as possible. Like try not to look anywhere, think of anything, and just get back to sleep as possible.
Yeah, it doesn't take long for your body to react to that light.
Dude, my God,
They
or
say,
any
yeah.
thoughts. Like I don't think of anything. I'm just like just piss and then bed
Go.
and that's it. Nothing,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. So that's a good. And even if you wake up multiple times, if you get good at doing that, you'll be all right. But don't chug a bunch of water with your magnesium before you go to bed. Try to be hydrated like 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. You know, so you're not sitting there drinking a bunch of water, urinating all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that hopefully is useful to everyone.
I hope
Yeah.
so, guys.
Yeah,
Make
sleep
some
is
gains
awesome.
in the gym, guys.
Yeah, it's important. Like I notice people that do sacrifice their sleep. A lot of times their immune system, you see it. They're sick all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like if you're going to live a lifestyle that requires a lot of physical effort, like get your sleep in.
Yeah.
Get your sleep in.
100%.
You want those gains. Get
can
those
be
sleep
better.
gains.